So once again, it's being proven right. Twitter is not real life.
Lost.
Lilo and Stitch is one of my absolute all-time favorite movies that has ever been produced by Disney. The company in itself in recent years has come under a lot of fire for things like what they're doing to The Little Mermaid and other movies, where they're bringing them to live action and completely ruining the storytelling and throwing in ideologies into these movies out of nowhere. Now with Lilo and Stitch, it's a very decent story. It's a very traditional story with the ugly duckling, where the ugly duckling is trying to find his way home and trying to find a place. And the story is saying nobody gets left behind. Everybody is family, and that is part of the culture. That's part of the Hawaiian culture. It's a very unique telling of the ugly duckling, and I thought it was a very, very good story with a very positive message. But today we see what's going on with Twitter. And we see the people that sat there and defended that the Little Mermaid can be race swapped, even though the story took place in Denmark in a very predominantly ethno-white place. But, then it comes up to, oh, why can't somebody of darker skin color play the Little Mermaid? Well, that's fine. That's fine. But it's the fact that it's being done for an ideology and for a push for a divide, a cultural divide into people. And it's being done just to do it, not to do it in such a way that it actually breathes light to the story and does it a good thing, but it gets ratioed to hell and back. But now the opposite is happening. The opposite is happening with Lilo and Stitch. A native born Hawaiian is going to be playing Nani, and people are very upset because she's not dark skinned enough. Let's look over at bounding into comics for this one. Disney fans who supported the Little Mermaid race swapping attacked newly cast Lilo and Stitch live action remake actress Sydney Agudong. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that name, for not being dark skinned enough to play Nani. This actress is born and raised in Hawaii, uh, lives the culture, breathes the culture, but she's not dark skinned enough for people online. This goes to show you once again how identity politics are in everything, and it all boils down to Twitter. Hypocrisy in the name of identity politics. After spending the past few months accusing anyone being critical of Ariel's race swapping in the live action movie of The Little Mermaid for being hateful bigot, Disney's more identity politics obsessed fans are now hypocritically taking to outright attack the newly cast actress Sydney Elizabeth Adoang for not being adequately dark enough to portray Nani in the studio's upcoming live action of Lilo and Stitch. If you took Lilo and Stitch today and literally whitewashed it all, I would have a huge problem with it. I thought the story was very telling. I thought it encapsulated the Hawaiian culture very well. An up-and-coming young actress of Filipino descent, whose most notably credits currently include guest spots on the television series NCIS and On My Block. So she's a well-known actress at this point, or at least decently known in the industry. She will be an up-and-comer. She actually is a native to Hawaii and has done the work to become a actress at this point. It's hard to say that this is really a bad thing. I think it's somebody that fits every part of the story. And if honestly, I'm looking at this through the lens of my eyes. And if someone was to turn to me and say, "Well, you're not dark skinned enough to be actually considered black," well, my grandfather was black, so it's kind of one of those things like heritage. Who cares? I don't care. I don't use that as a crutch. Why bother? It doesn't do anything but just create a divide, and that's why. And that's what's going on here, is people are pushing a wedge into this issue for no good reason other than to be racist. It's ridiculous at this point. However, despite being born and raised in the United States island state, Agudong has drawn the ire of every Representation Matters crowd that Disney has spent recent years cultivating, as according to them, the actress is far too light-skinned compared to the character's description or depiction of the original source material. Easily, it could have been, they could have casted it probably lighter skin in the cartoon, but it wouldn't have made sense. Well, this was one of the announcements, one of the tweets that was used in the article in particular. I figured, let's go actually look at this tweet in itself. Now, it's got 73 million views. Sydney Agudong has been casted as Nani in the Disney's live-action adaptation of Lilo and Stitch. And if you scroll down here, it gets pretty ridiculous. Just a few things that you sit there where people are just straight up throwing the hypocrisy right back into the face of this. Did Scarlett Johansson say no? No, it's pretty funny. That's just disturbing. People talking about the whole Ariel situation and now the Nani situation. Okay, but I'm the only one that sees that these two swap roles would fit almost perfectly to the original characters. Sure. Because, the Little Mermaid is from Denmark and Nani is from Hawaii. And there's two different, very, very different cultures between the two, but that doesn't matter at all. It doesn't matter. It's all about the skin tone. It's all about how people perceive the skin tone in particular. If we go into the quote tweets here, we'll see how ridiculous this gets. I could be treading very dark waters here. It's perfectly balanced from Thanos with the Little Mermaid and Nani. It's perfectly balanced. No, this isn't a perfectly balanced situation. I believe the actress in particular that they're casting for this role has done the hard work to become a good actress for the role, is native to Hawaii, so she fits the bill. She fits all the pieces of the puzzle, and people are just upset because she's not dark skinned enough. Are you kidding me? People are very upset because Ariel is too dark at this point. It's the exact opposite, and that's where they're saying it's perfectly balanced. No, it's not perfectly balanced. You want to know how this gets worse? Her mother is a white person realtor that focuses on residential and vacant land properties. So now they're attacking her family for this. It's absolutely ridiculous. This pisses me off. And Ariel didn't. You're a racist, hypocritical little biatch. Yeah. Sorry, not sorry. I'm really not sorry, because there is zero reason why you should hate this and love the other concept unless you just don't like light-skinned folks. That is racism. That encapsulates what's going on. It's absolutely ridiculous. And the amount of people that have spawned in on this is just crazy. So now you guys care about the color of character skin after calling people racist for saying that with area. Cry Fanta. Oh, okay. I've seen these go around there. They're absolutely ridiculous. You would never see this in cinema because you want people to portray them properly. It's just a real shame to see this, and honestly, it doesn't make things better. May that movie flop for what? It's a good storytelling. Yes, light-skinned white Hawaiians exist. Have you seen the skin tone of the character she's supposed to be playing? It really is. And I have to say, it's very hard when it comes to drawing cartoons if you want to show off the skin color in a cartoon. It's very hard. And if you want to go dark, really dark skin in cartoons, well, they tried this in the past and people screamed at the hilltops that it was very bad and racist.
And let us establish the pecking order.
Oh, I love chicken.
Honestly, when it comes down to it, things just are out of hand when it comes to cinema and the changes that we continue to see today. the pop culture of it all is that this is here to stay. People are going to continue to do this in cinema. It was wrong in the past when people whitewashed cinema and whitewashed things and everything like that. It was very wrong in the past, and it's wrong today to do it the opposite way. When it comes down to the storytelling, is the story actually getting the message across? Is it actually doing it justice? Now, when it comes to The Little Mermaid, there's a lot of reservations there, and I have more of a problem that it's not a flowing red hair for Ariel, because that was one of the most significant things about The Little Mermaid. I don't care the depiction of Ariel being race swapped as much, but the fiery red hair in the original Disney storytelling of the model was what made Ariel who she was. That is where a lot of people got very upset and said, who cares the skin color? Where's the hair? Where's the hair? And we have seen this time and again that people, and with cinema in particular, where redheads seem to be the target of the ire. And I don't get it. I don't get where that is. And it could be because there is a lack of redheads in the world, or they're just trying to give it more of a depiction of who they are. I'm not entirely sure. But the cultural differences here between a Hawaiian story versus a Denmark story, that's the two differences here. You're looking at the cultural differences. You're looking at how things are much different. And I got to say, from The Little Mermaid, you would expect certain things to show up that way, but they don't. From what I've seen of the trailer, the absolute live action movie for it is not going to perform very well. This Lilo and Stitch may, but I don't expect it to perform as well as the original. I don't think it will, and I think Disney needs to really stop doing the retelling of their stories into a live action movie. I think with like The Lion King, it was very interesting and nuanced at first. I thought it was a decent way to do it and to show off new technology, new CGI technology, where the depiction of actually seeing animals on the screen, but it snowballed from there, saying, oh, we need to redo all Disney movies as a live action take because that's what everyone wants. No, nobody wants these live action takes. They want the classics to stay the classics, and they don't want to have to sit there and go back to the classics and know they've been reimagined and modernized in the same light as today, because they're things of the past. Anyway, hope you guys like this one. I'm your proud Canadian Phoenix in the Shadow. I'm going to sign off here. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and let me know down below.